Hi and welcome to another 5 minutes tutorial, and this time about the node Wavelength. The thing with Wavelength is that it only works in cycles, so please change the render engine from Eevee to cycles so you can handle everything. So just go to render and then change this so it is cycles. If you have it in cycles, everything should work fine. So I was thinking that we create a rainbow out of this wavelength. So first of all, we need something to add a material to. So start with the UV sphere, Shift A, Mesh and UV sphere. Then you can just go to edit mode, and you can also select this X-ray so you can see everything, and press Alt A to remove everything. Select X here, and now number 3, which means that we're now using the faces, and then just remove the bottom part here by pressing X and select faces. And the top part you will now select everything on and scale it so it's in the same height, which means S, Z and 0. And now we don't have it on the surface here, so we just change the item into 0, and then everything should be fine here, and we can press tab and start doing our material. So we select the new material for this one, and we go to rendered view so we can see the result, and then I press Shift A and I go to converter and select the wavelength, and now I can explain what wavelength is. So wavelength is the visual part of the waves that we have in, let's say, the sky. So somewhere between 400 to 700, 800, that is like visible wavelength. If we go shorter or we get longer, then we get other things. So if we go shorter, we get something called ultraviolet, and if we go longer, then we get infrared. So, but between around, as I said, 400 to 700, something like that, then it's visible. And the rainbow is just that thing that it breaks into different types of wavelength when it meets the rain and the sky meets. So by changing this wavelength, you can see that we then get different types of colors here, and you can also see that it disappears into like black when we are around 800, and it disappears into black when we are below 400. So it's between, as I said, something here 700, 800, 400. And now we would like this to be like a rainbow, so we need some gradient. So I press Shift A and go to Input Texture Coordinate, and I separate the UV, so I just drag from this, alright, separate X, Y, Z, and I can then input the map range, so Shift A, Converter, and the map range. And I can use the Y here, and then I can control that with the results here. You can see when I take it up, it gets then changed here. So by using these things here, I can then create my range for the rainbow. So something here is good for my rainbow because there we have some darkness, and then we have white, and then everything between is then black. So we can connect that to the wavelength here, but if we do it like this, everything will be black. So we need to change these numbers here to something that is between a rainbow, as I said, 400 to 800, or perhaps to 700 or something. You can tweak that a little bit until you get it so you get the rainbow as you want to. And if you see now, I have the violet here and the red here, because that is the shorter wavelength, so I have inversed this here because we got more black here and more white here. So now we have it in the right way, so to speak. And then we just need to take everything else away, and that we can do with an alpha. So we can press Shift A, Converter Math, and just put in like less than use the Y here, put that to the alpha, and then control it here. So now you can see it grows up here, and now it's almost finished, and all we have to do now is tweak so we get away with the black down here, and tweak a little bit so we get away with the black up to the top here, and just remove the rest here. So if I just select X and A, Alt A to remove, and then 3 to faces, then I can just take away this part here, pressing X, and then we have go back, and we have a rainbow here. Now I can just move it up a bit, so RX to rotate 90 degrees, and we have a rainbow. So this is a wavelength, and we can use that for like oil, where you have the shining, where it changes in a rainbow color, things like this, or other parts where you can see this rainbow pattern, like an old disc or something like that. And as I said, just use wavelength between 400, 800, something like that, and it only works in cycles. So hopefully you learned something about wavelength today, and as usual I will see you tomorrow and say bye for now.